I am Mike Tilley, and I've lived in Jonesborough for 40 years. My grandmother and granddaddy lived here in Jonesborough, and I grew up in Johnson City, but they lived down here, and I would come and visit, and the more I came down here, the more I loved it, you know. It was a lot different back 40 years ago than it was now. It's like 2,000 people here, and you didn't have to wait at corners, get across, or nothing like that. It's just, but it was a great place, you know, and I said, hey, I want to come down there and live, so that's where I've been. It's different. There's a lot of houses. Used to, we had fields where we would go hunt and play and all that, and now my house, along with the subdivision we live in, is, you know, houses everywhere, you know, so. But I can still look out my back window and see where my granddaddy lived at, and grandmother, and it brings back great memories, you know. Chuckey Depot is with the ex-Southern Railway depot. It was located down at Chuckey, Tennessee, and it was used for shipping. You can read some of the signs around here. They grain, farmers, stuff that they shipped out and all that, and got in, feed, and it was used that up to 1959, and then the railroad shut it down. And then the Johnson family in Chuckey, they purchased the building, but they did not purchase the land. They got a 50-year lease on it, and that was 1959, and guess what? In 2009, the railroad didn't forget it. The railroad showed up their door and said, would you like to pay rent for being on our property, or we can tear the building down, or you can move it. And they were good friends of mine. They called me and wanted to know, since I'm the president of the Watauga Valley Railroad Museum, they asked me if somebody'd be interested. So I went downtown, we talked to Mr. Browning, and who was the town administrator then, and Bob said, yeah, we'd probably be interested. So, and they went down and we worked the agreement out. They took the building down and brought it back in 3 or 4 trailers to Jonesborough, piece by piece, and they took it apart, numbered each thing, and these were people from the Northeast Correctional Facility up at Rome Mountain that did this. I mean, they were craftsmen. So as it ended up, the town of Jonesborough partnered with the Heritage Alliance, the Watauga Valley Railroad Museum, and it worked out great. The Heritage Alliance helps a lot on the exhibits, and we provide the manpower and kind of the not railroad knowledge, you know, needed for here. So it's a great team. We are open Thursday through Sunday, and we have sometimes we get up to 60 or 70 people a day in this when special events are going on. So we're very proud of it. We had a caboose on hand at our Watauga Railroad Yard over on Spring Street, and we painted it, cleaned it up, and brought it over here. So that's what the little red caboose is, and all the kids and everybody loves that thing. We have it open, they go in it and see what it really looks like back, you know, years ago. As a kid, my daddy loved the trains and all that, and he'd take me along the track side to see trains going by, and we would go to Erwin, stay at the diesel shop. So when I was a kid, I said, I want to do that, you know, and so my daddy would take me over in the train cruiser, put me on the train and all that. I said, okay. So when I went to ETSU, they offered a degree in rail transportation. So I took it and got it, and then got out of ETSU, and 2 months later, the railroad in Erwin hired me, and I was there for 40 years. Railroad work is very hard. It's 24 hours a day, and you're on call, and you don't know. I mean, I travel from Kentucky to South Carolina all the time, and spend a lot of time in motels and on the road a lot. So it's not for everybody, you know. But you gotta love it before you really do it, you know. If you hate it, you won't last. I just felt like I was, when you're moving goods and stuff like that, coal and all kinds of the commodities at the railroad hauls, you just feel like you're filling a void there of getting stuff around, you know. I mean, if you had every railroad car out here on the highway, it'd be a living nightmare. You wouldn't ever, you know. They are putting an inland report up, a port they call it, up in Abington area, Washington County, that will accept trailers and they'll put them on trains. So we're hoping that Virginia is coming forward. They're coming forward with passenger trains. I'm really discouraged with Tennessee because they just keep on pumping our highways with trucks. I think tourism has kept Jonesborough like it is right now. It's got, you know, they've got the old stuff, like the oldest town in Tennessee, the Chester Inn, the old buildings down there, the old courthouse. It's got everything that makes it, you know, the oldest town in Tennessee. And I think if they hadn't promoted tourism back in the 70s and had a little eye of what's going, you know, what's ahead, they would not have, it would not be what it is now, you know. So we owe a lot to our town administrators and visitor people and all that. It's kept us going all these years.
Do you consider yourself a Jonesboroughian?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been here longer than I was in Johnson City. So I don't want it to be growing as fast as it has been, you know. I mean, it's changing so fast, and it's the traffic and the open fields on the, say, the northern and southern part of the town is filling up with houses, and I just hate to see that. And maybe that's progress, but it just seems like it's, you know, it's ruining, you know, what it looks, you know, what Jonesborough, you know, looks like, you know. I guess you can't keep things like they stay, you know. Times change, so maybe I haven't got a gripe, but I just hate to see it. All these houses pop up and the streets filled up where you can't get out and all that, you know, with traffic. So this is technically a railroad town. The depot used to be there in the parking lot where the Parsons table's at, across from Tennessee Distillery. And then they had a big, right in the parking lot behind the courthouse, they had a kind of a hotel back there. So it's, you know, a lot going on in this town back then, you know.